All right. So for our March Stamp Along Technique time, I am so excited about this card. It is a pop-up flip card, kind of flip-flop card, but I have chosen to use this little, the goat. And what's beautiful about this card is it does this wonderful thing. So if it's sitting down, someone can see both your like nice little image and they can see what you have done on the inside. So it's just a lot of fun to do. So those that are in my club, you already have your parts and pieces, but I'm just going to go ahead and show you a couple things. You're going to need the for basic white, 4 by 5 1/4, and then a matching size 4 by 5 1/4 of designer paper. Again, I was using Ornate Garden. Love, love, love this. You are going to be using a 3 by 4 of a matching to your card base. It's a regular card base scored at 4 1/4. Okay, so it's the matching. So it's the 3 by 4. Then I'm going to score it at 1, 2, and 3 inches across the long side. And then you're going to have a 2 1/4 by 3/4 little piece. This will be the hinge. And that's scored at 1 1/4. So I am going to just score it real quickly. And I'll show you. We'll get started. Here we go. So this one, real quick, to make my little hinge, and this will all make sense. It'll all make sense when I hardly ever use this to score with. Don't tell anyone, but I'm demonstrating it to you guys. All right. So when I have my hinge, I'm going to have a longer side and a short side, and it's that long side that I'll be putting my adhesive on first when we go to making it. Okay, so now here we go. I'm just going to score this at 1 inch. Isn't that funny when, you're doing something that you don't normally do it this way? I use my scoreboard because I like my scoreboard. I can really zip and zing on it. This one, I'm always afraid I'm going to use my cutting blade, right? Because that's happened before. All right, so now I'm going to make sure that I have these nice and burnished because I want this to really move real nicely. And as we work with this later on, we're going to fold it in half and we're going to put the glue, our adhesive here. And I just saw my little thing here. Now, you guys, for you, because I love you, I've already done all of that scoring for you. You're welcome. So that is easy enough to do. Now, when I made this card, you go, well, there's 2 different framelits sizes that you use. And I used from my stitched framelit dies. And to make this card, I just took 2 of the nesting ones of the larger size that I wanted to use. So with the small one, I went ahead and did this. But I want to show you something with the larger one. And because you want it to line up, and you do not want to glue this completely down. Right? Because if you glue it completely down, then you're going to have in the center, you are going to have your stuff glued. It won't work, trust me. All right. So I'm going to show you real quickly what I do. It's the wonderful great eyeball thing. I can put glue just along the outside here if I wanted, but I want to show you that you don't even need to do that. So I'm going to make sure that I have this lined up kind of where I want it to fall. So I have my nice even borders. Get that all lined up. And then I'm going to put that down. I'm using a magnetic plate, so that kind of is actually going to help hold everything down. And bring it through. Like my nice shiny new plates. Yeah, I did that. I don't do my nails, but I did put a pretty plate on there for you guys. All right. So when I open this, I've got my wonderful stitched edge, and I have a bonus piece. So this bonus piece I could use for a rainy day when I make another card. All right, so you can see that it's really simple. It doesn't take much to be able to put that together. Okay, so what I'm going to have you do first as we're making our card, maybe I should just go like that because it looks cute, right? You know, if you wanted, you could even make it stand up like that, but we're not going to worry about that right now. The first thing I'm going to do is just glue this on the front, and then I'm going to glue my inside piece to the inside of the card. And I say to start there because you don't want to accidentally start making your mechanism and not have that bottom part of your card in place if you're going to put that like on the inside. Some people just keep it naked and not put white. But for our purposes, we're just going to put the white on the inside. Okay. All right, so there's that. I'm opening it up, and now you might go, oh, I'm worried that I might make a mess if I stamp later on after the fact. Well, there's always opportunity to just, take a piece of, and stamp on that and pop it on top to hide. So I'm not really worried about boo-boo stamping when I make this one. Now, some people even later on will put a, they might just put like a little punched images, like if you're doing butterflies and put butterflies. But you have to be careful because this is going to have to slide. So if you're going to put a punched image, you need to make sure you're putting it like over here where it's not going to get in the way, right? Don't put it here because that's going to catch and you don't want it. You want it to slide completely flat. So as you are opening it, it moves, okay? And it moves when you close it. Well, he's just so cute. I love that. Okay, so here we go. So what we're going to do now, the first thing we're going to do is our mechanism. Now, remember, this is the pop-up mechanism, and I've labeled this the hinge. So the first thing is you're going to want to have the fold facing you, okay? And I have the edge here facing me and the fold away. So I am going to take some sticky strip. Come on. And I'm going to, tear and tape. I called it sticky strip. It's tear and tape. Whatever you want to use, I would just suggest you make sure that whatever you're using, it's going to be a strong adhesive, right? Liquid glue could work, but you want it to be a strong adhesive. You don't want your little pop-up card to go kaplooey on you. And this is the time when you go, oh, I should have not done this and kept nails, right? Here we go. All right. So I'm going to make sure that this is now on the bottom. So I'm flipping it over. My folded edge, as you can see, my folded edge is facing me. And I'm putting it right up against, I'm going to butt it up against the fold there. And I'm kind of lining it up so it's equal on this side and equal on this side. So I'm just going to put it down. And because I have my thing a little goofy, there. Okay. Easy enough, right? Excuse me. Now, we've got this edge that's close. This edge, we're going to be putting sticky strip on this one. We are not going to get close to this fold, but more keep a pinky away from it, because as you can, well, you may not be able to see, but this is going to show, and you don't want glue to be anywhere near that. Okay. So when I do this, I'm sure one strip would do the job, but I'm kind of a two strip gal. Well, that sounds bad. So I'm going to put that like that, burnish it, pick that off, and pick it off there. Come on. Pressure, pressure. I should just grab a tool. You know, when in doubt, grab a tool. Okay, here we go. And I don't like what I did there with that. So, yes, you saw it here. Foils and flubs. All right. So basically what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to close my card on top of that. Right? So I've got my mechanism or my box. I'm going to burnish again. Now, if you feel like, oh, you know, when you did it, you didn't line it up well, or your score was a little bit off, you can smooth it. Like in the case of this particular one, that's what I've got. But you know what? I just kind of pushed it down with my bone folder and it worked. All right, so now we have our little hinge. I'm going to put glue on this hinge, and then I'm going to stick the open end, and we're going to put it up against that. Okay, so now let me take care of that. You know what? That's annoying to me. So I feel like I'm talking to myself a lot today. All right. I love this tear tape actually, and I'm kind of preferring it a lot more than I do runner, a tape runner for things like that. I find I've got better stickage, and with my glue, my liquid glue, I find I have better maneuverability. All right, so here we go. I'm pushing it up there against that. And then that's what we have. Okay, I'm not going to put anything on here yet because I want to work on my image. I can't wait to see the images that you guys are going to use with yours. I have chosen to use the Way to Goat. I love this set. It's just so much fun. And I'm doing the one with the little daisy because it kind of matches the flowers on my paper. And then I am doing a set statements that are from the A Wish for Everything stamp set. It's a double set. It's got wonderful matching dies. But I just really liked what it had to say for my card. So again, I can't wait to see what you do for your card. Notice I have not done anything with this yet. So here is where you get to go, okay, what's my highlight going to be? You can use flowers and dies. You could, I don't know, the sky's really the limit of what you could do. For me, I'm going whimsical because I'm thinking of somebody I know that needs a card, and this would just put a smile on her face. So, of course, I want to do that. Now, I'm going to use our Stampin', move that out of my way. I'm going to use our Stampin' Blends. And, you know, I was like, well, how do you color a goat? I don't know. I don't know colors of a goat. But I thought, okay, we'll just kind of give them this little skin tony thing and horns. I have no idea what color those would be, but I'm just going to go ahead and use this on mine. And I am using, that was ivory. That's kind of a good all around when you don't know what to do color, do ivory. And then I'm going to come in with my light. This one is Gray Granite. I really like this color because it's so useful for so many things. So I'm just going to kind of give it a coat, give my goat a coat. And when I come back, I'm going to be taking my darker color and kind of highlighting, but I'll give everything a coat with this first, like that. All right, now let me come in with a little bit of darker, and I'm going to kind of catch some of these places that would naturally be dark if there was a shadow on the goat. And bring it like that. And you know what? I'm just going to make him dark up here. I feel like Bob Ross in A Happy Little Tree. Oops, you know what? We missed the little hair on his chinny chin chin. There we go. I missed a couple places here. You know, one thing nice with watercoloring too, or just, you know, that effect is it doesn't have to be pretty. I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect. Of course, it wants to be pretty. Now, a lot of times you will have a die that you can just cut this out with, but this didn't happen to have a die. So I get to fussy cut. I'm just going to come around like that and get rid of some of my extra. So I'm not fighting that. So when I fussy cut, you know, I used to go, oh, I don't want to fussy cut. This is just so, well, fussy. But the secret to fussy cutting is just kind of keeping your scissors in the same place and just moving your paper as you go, right? So it makes it a lot faster. Sad thing with that is it's cutting off those little dots, which I thought were kind of cute. It's like a little fallout from the goat's little flour crumbs, if that could be said. Now, there are places where I'm not going to get really exact, and, you know, and that's okay because it doesn't have to be exact. This little guy or whatever you put on yours is going to be just a fun pop of love, whatever you put on it. And again, I apologize for not just pulling one of these out of my little magic hat, but I wanted you to see that it really doesn't take that long to go ahead and fussy cut something, right? Maybe we shouldn't call it fussy cut. Maybe we should call it fun cut. I'm fun cutting, and actually, this is kind of fun. It is a little bit therapeutic at the same time as, you know, bringing something to life. It's kind of like Michelangelo. Not really, but let's just pretend. Bringing something, releasing something from the stone that he's working with, the marble. Okay. Ta-da. So that didn't take very long at all. Now, whatever image you do that you choose to do, you're only going to want to, well, you're going to want to be careful of a couple things. All right. So before we get that far, let's go ahead and talk about this. Let's go ahead and put your little main base circle in and put your sticky strip on that. Close your card, and we're going to just set that inside. So it's a pretty quick thing. If you haven't already done that, you might have jumped ahead of me and said, I know exactly where she's going with this thing, and I already have my card done. No. So I'm going to just put a little bit there just to hold on to that guy. Burnish it, and then pick off my stuff. All right, there we go. So now I'm going to lay this guy down in here and then press. Ta-da. Boy, that scared me for a second. It's like, why is he not doing that? All right. So now, as you notice, when I lay this in just to see where everything's going to be, I don't want to put him up so tall that he is going to hang off the edge. So whatever your image is, you have to think, okay, where is it going to fit on this? And do I want to stamp something underneath it? Do I want to stamp something to the side? So that's what you get to kind of, figure out. But whatever you do, when you are ready to stick it down, be very careful where you put your dimensionals, okay? Like that. So I'm going to take that out for now. I am also going to put dimensionals on the back of this because I want this to pop away from my main base there. It just gives it kind of a fun effect. But if I'm going to stamp, I'm going to make sure I stamp first before I put those little dimensionals on there for obvious reasons. Okay, so come on, little guy. Yeah, I'm going to put you about right there. All right. And for this one, I am going to use the little For You from the stamp set that I showed you with all those wonderful little phrases. And I'm just going to stick that right in there for you. Now, you don't have to have a saying there if you don't want a saying there. Just saying. All right. I put my little dimensionals on this. And yes, I'm going dimensional heavy on that. Don't ask me why. I'm usually very stingy with my dimensionals. It's kind of like designer paper. It's like, I don't want to use it because then I'll lose it. Oh, he's so cute, guys. Oh, so much fun. So the only thing left to do is to stamp whatever I want to stamp on the inside. And I could stamp a big statement here if I wanted, or I could just keep it little. The thought is, if you keep it within here, when the card is opened, they get to see this and your message at the same time as the card sits there. Or again, if you want them to be able to do that with it, then you could do a bigger message. But really, it's your card and you get to choose. I'm going to use the statement, just a little reminder that you are loved. I love that in the Wish for Everything set. I'm going to stamp off once because I don't know if I got a little too heavy on my ink pad here. Now I'm going to try it on my card. Voila. All right. So this is a pop-up flip card where it surprises your recipient when they get it and it pops up and it flips down like that. So they could just kind of have their cake and eat it too in terms of seeing everything on your card. So I'm going to stop the recording. I'm so excited to see what you guys have done, what stamp set you have used to do your card. So then we'll start with our second card afterwards.